NASA has defined that climate is the usual weather of a place. Climate can be different for different seasons. A place might be mostly warm and dry in the summer, and the same place may be cool and wet in the winter. Different places can have different climates. Then, we can say that climate change is a change in the usual weather found in a place. This could be a change in how much rain a place usually gets in a year, or it could be a change in place usual temperature for a month or season. The first question that will be answered in this documentary video is climate change getting worse day by day? On the other hand, as day goes by, we need to admit that not all of us have the same concern and view about climate change. Thus, there are some people who still think that human does not contribute in climate change issue. Then, the second question that will be answered in this video is how do we know that humans are causing climate change? Also, in this issue, everybody should do their part. Climate change is a global issue and no one is left behind in order to tackle this problem. So, the question that will be studied together in this video is how should each entity, individuals, firms, governments should act to reduce the effects of climate change. Besides, if we look at the climate change issue from a different view, Islamic view is one of the views all of us need to know as a Muslim. Islam is viewed as the complete religion on the planet. Another question that will be explored in this video is what does Al-Quran and Hadith talk about climate change? Next, Islam is a religion where Allah has delegated human as the Khalifah to utilize the resources in this world. But still, if human is the Khalifah on the earth and they have akal, why does climate change still happen? Furthermore, Maqasid al-Shari'ah also can be interpreted as the higher objectives of the rules of the Shari'ah, the observance of which facilitates the normal functioning of society by enhancing the public good. Maslahah, this implies avoiding actions likely to harm individuals and society. And the last question that will be tackled in this video is what is the role of Maqasid Shari'ah in preserving environment?
The first question is climate change getting worse day by day?
Nowadays, climate change seems to be worsening as the effects of it become increasingly visible to all. Overwhelming greenhouse gases in the atmosphere created global warming that made seas warm and increased the level of water on Earth. Cities and land were dangerously exposed to sink if the sea level increases. Global mean sea level has increased about 8 to 9 inches, which is 21 to 24 centimeters since 1980, which is last 2.5 decades incurred third of it. In 2019, global mean sea level recorded the highest yearly average in satellite record, which is 3.4 inches, around 8.71 centimeters. Besides, the fact stated that 2019 is the second warmest year in 140-year record, which tells us that the Earth is becoming warmer. Ocean surface and global land temperature shifted from the average of 0.95 degrees Celsius, which was less 0.04 degrees Celsius, to the warmest year in history in 2016, and 0.02 degrees Celsius more than the third warmest year, which is 2015.
Thus, without any coordinated action, the future of our planet will be in serious danger.
We recognize that climate change is occurring, but there are a lot of things people can do to help minimize it. We do not need to wonder if climate change is occurring or if it is caused by humans. We have to think instead, what can we do or what can I do? Firstly, it is a great advantage to avoid air travel because high altitude emissions are more powerful for the atmosphere than the same emissions emitted at ground level, and 5% of global warming is due to flood. Besides, we can reduce water waste because saving water also reduces carbon pollution. It is a good idea to turn off the water when we are not using it. While brushing our teeth, shampooing the pet, or washing our car, turn off the water until we actually need it, for instance. Next, the actions firms can adopt to fight climate change are by reducing the energy consumption. Each company should ask their workers to save the electricity and use them if needed only. Moreover, Moreover, reducing the amount of waste produced is another way to minimize the environmental impact of an organization. For instance, avoiding plastic coffee machines cups. On the other hand, the companies can supply kitchen crockery, reduce the amount of reused document as draft, and appropriately arranging waste for recycling. The actions can take by the government is to protect and restore key ecosystems that are vital to fighting climate change, like waterways, lakes, seas, and trees. Moreover, the government can support small agriculture producers. Governments can make a difference by helping small local farmers who use organic methods, take care of land restoration, help surrounding population, and make livestock and crops more resilient to climate change. It's not about anyone being vegetarian, but more to help those who grow our food with reverence for nature.
The third question is, what does Al-Quran and Hadith say about climate change?
Islam covers all parts of our life comprehensively, with two main sources which are Al-Quran and Hadith. Allah mentioned in Al-Quran that corruption has appeared throughout the land and sea by what the hands of people have earned, so He may let them taste part of what they have done, that perhaps they will return to righteousness. Thus, it is clearly portrayed about the occurrence of climate change that led to the corruption of earth that was done by the hands of corrupted human. Furthermore, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ mentioned that the earth is green and beautiful, and God has appointed you His stewards over it, narrated by Muslim. This shows that humans cannot turn their backs in preserving the environment, as it is an obligation given by Allah to us. He also said that do not waste water even if you are on the bank of a flowing river. This can make us understand to preserve the resources on earth, even we were provided with abundance of resources.
Thus, we need to preserve our earth as a part of our responsibility of being a Muslim.
The fourth question is, how do we know humans are causing climate change?
We know humans are causing climate change because it was contributed hugely by human fingerprints, which change the Earth's atmospheric heat caused by the rapid greenhouse gases. As clearly mentioned in his book, that mischief has occurred in the land and the sea because of what the hands of mankind have earned. This bad behavior to the Earth prevent us from achieving the 12 Sustainable Development Goals, responsible consumption and production. The record said that the carbon dioxide gases increased rapidly over the years since the Industrial Revolution. As we can see today, humans enjoy cutting down the trees and burning the forest in order to fulfill their own desire.
This activity will extend the dream to achieve the 13th SDG, which is climate action to reduce the greenhouse gas emission.
High heat in the atmosphere results in the melting of glacier and polar ice cap. The 15th SDG, life on land, also can be affected. The melting of polar ice cap have indirectly destroyed the habitat of polar bear and Adeline penguin. The melting ice will end up in the ocean, which made the sea level rise.
The sea has also become warmer since the year 1950 and rising in acidity because of the carbon dioxide gases.
14th SDG also can be affected, which is life below water because of the condition of the sea. The marine creatures choose moving to other regions or more deeper in the water to find their preference range for the sea temperature. It has also become harder for marine animals to create their own skeleton and shells because of the ocean acidity.
The other strong reason that we can claim that humans are causing climate change is when the COVID-19 started to hit all the people worldwide.
The effect like people use transportation less than usual and non-operating factories help in reducing the harmful gases such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide and more. But still, we cannot say that COVID-19 is the solution for climate change because this disease will affect other SDGs to be achieved.
The fifth question is, if the human as the Khalifa on the earth and have akal, why does the climate change still happen?
This climate change still happen because human, the greatest creature of Allah, having akal and appoint as Khalifa in this world, ignore all the things around them.
There is a theory named Evolutionary Theory that claims that humans just only care about their family, from great-grandparents until great-grandchildren.
Humans do not care about others, that's why they do not make a sacrifice. They just thought that their present condition is much important than future condition. Currently, climate change still happen because humans do not believe that they are responsible for this global disaster. They assume the bad effect will never hit them back. Lack of consent towards the issue will bring problem to us to achieve all the SDG because everybody avoids taking solution together. If humans are not responsible for what they did, then the goal just become unattainable dreams and humans are the one who will suffer a lot. As mentioned by Allah that if you did well for yourself.
If you did evil, you did it again yourself.
Generally, Maqasid Sharia is basically the purposes of Islamic law that based on the Al-Quran and As-Sunnah that indicates to conserve the well-being of people and nature, which consists of protecting the 5 fundamental objectives of Sharia, such as wealth, lineage, religion, life, and intellect. So, in the context of environment, Maqasid Sharia and Sustainable Development Goals are parallel in terms of purposes in maintaining the sustainability of the shape of nature as well as enhancing the benefits and preventing the harm in order to reduce pollution. Speaking of performing the Maqasid Sharia, the environment can be preserved by having an altruistic mind and think of the consequences before doing something. This can be expressed as a situation when someone chooses to practice 3R, reuse, reduce and recycle, or put his scrap to a proper place to get rid of his waste, instead of burning them openly, which will lead to global warming. Indirectly, this action can achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. As trustees of the earth, human beings can protect the remaining forests instead of cutting them down in order to control the greenhouse effect in reducing climate change. Achieving a faithful and righteous heart is one of the Maqasid Sharia that can affect one's mindset to be more aware of the consequences if human beings harm the environment, as Allah has mentioned in the Quran. Thus, everyone should play a significant role as Muslim to preserve the nature, at once mitigate the climate change. These efforts of preserving the environment are corresponding with the Sustainable Development Goal 13, Climate Action, which is to fight the climate crisis.
All accounts, we cannot deny the reason why climate change is getting worse day by day is because the hand of those arrogant humans themselves. But that is not the case here. Climate change becomes a bigger problem when humans do not even try to do something to overcome this global issue. Climate change is one of the warnings that Allah sent to the humans who have been appointed as caliph in this earth to make move and redeem themselves. As being told before, there are many ways that we, even only as an individual, can do to make change. Each entity should take responsibility and work together to help reduce the climate change. Allah states in Al-Quran, and help one another in beer and pity, and do not help one another in sin and enmity, and have pity towards Allah. Surely Allah is severe in punishment. Therefore, we as a Muslim, including non-Muslim that live in this temporary world, should cooperate in attaining 7 Sustainable Development Goals and not making it harder to achieve it.